Straight ahead on the Daily O, the speaker has been announced. The university has now revealed which former alumni will be the next speaker for the fall graduates in December. A shopping record. While economists still worry about the future of the economy in the United States, Black Friday shopping had a different tune compared to years prior. Find out how giving consumers were this season in your national headlines. But first, crime is on the rise. Stillwater Police has identified one suspect for an incident at a gas station while still looking for clues at another. We'll have the details of both incidents. All this and more coming up on the Daily O. Good evening and welcome to this Monday edition of the Daily O. I'm Grayson Singleton. Thank you for joining us this evening. A suspect has now been identified after police say he attempted to steal and later threw a rock into a local convenient market. According to Stillwater Police, at approximately 8 a.m. Sunday morning, officers were called to the Valero gas station off North Perkins Road. According to the victim, the suspect attempted to steal alcohol from the store before being confronted by an employee. After the confrontation, the suspect left the store to return moments later with another male subject. Both tried to gain entry by throwing a rock into the window, causing injury to the employee. Despite the injury, the clerk then pulled out a gun and fired a round into the ground, forcing the suspects to flee the scene in a maroon car. Stillwater Police has yet to release the name of the suspect. Stillwater Police is also continuing to ask for your help with locating two vehicles that were stolen overnight at a local gas station. According to police, officers were called to the On-Q gas station on North Washington Street to a larceny call. Surveillance footage from the station showed that possibly multiple suspects stole diesel fuel and several tools from a truck left parked overnight. The two vehicles that are now being searched for are a white Dodge Ram pickup with a dark stripe along the bottom of the pickup and a dark colored cab pickup. Anyone with information regarding the suspects or vehicles is urged to call the Stillwater Police tip line at 405-533-8477. Back here on campus, United States Congressman Frank Lucas has been announced the commencement speaker at this fall's OSU graduation ceremony. The representative for Oklahoma's 3rd Congressional District was a former OSU alum in agriculture economics in 1982 and has been serving in office since 1994. He is the first speaker to be announced since OSU released their new initiative to become the top land-grant university in agriculture. Residents throughout Stillwater have begun to see lower prices when filling up at the pump, and for good reason. Oil prices in the U.S. have hit a low not seen in nearly a year. Futures for West Texas Intermediate crude oil, which is a North American benchmark, fell just over 3% on Monday. Meanwhile, futures for the global benchmark, Brent crude oil, had a similar drop, sending oil prices down to $81 per barrel. That's the lowest it's been since January. Analysts say fears about COVID-19 restrictions and lockdown protests in China have caused a dent in demand, leading to lower gas prices here in the United States. According to the AAA, the national average cost of a gallon of gas is now $3.55, while in Payne County, that average is $3.04. That's down more than 5% from last month. Coming up, sales throughout the holiday shopping hit the roof on Black Friday. We'll tell you the details of how much. Plus, early voting for the final U.S. Senate seat has now begun. Find out how voters are making their voices heard in your national headlines. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with the Daily O.
I'm Kristen Hawkins. I went to Oklahoma State University here in Stillwater in 99 to 2004. I've always felt like Stillwater needed more family-friendly things to do, and we have opened up AR Workshop. We do everything from knitting blankets that can be done in a 3-hour class. We create doormats and porch signs, the Christmas wreaths with our yarn that we use for the blankets. We also do, we just started a new project for gnomes, and we've done pumpkins during the fall. But our big thing that we do here are interior signs. Our designs are extremely unique to AR Workshop. Customers come in, everything is here for them to do. they create everything. They can be as hands-on as they want. They came in here to relax and have fun, and that they are proud of their project that they've made.
Our state is one of the most beautiful and unique states in the USA. With diverse geographies, the historic Route 66, unforgettable restaurants, and some of the greatest people on the planet. With so much to see and so much to do, living in Oklahoma means one of the best vacation spots is right in our own backyard. Doesn't this story need to be told? As filmmakers and photographers based right here in Oklahoma, we thought so. And hey, who doesn't like a good road trip? So, we packed up our cameras, teamed up with Lieutenant Governor Matt Pinnell and the Oklahoma Tourism and Recreation Department, and that's how this series was born. We want to show you why traveling within the great state of Oklahoma is a great idea. So come join us for thousands of miles over the next year, from Broken Bow to Black Mesa. This is the Oklahoma Road Trip.
We use the very best of the best ingredients. Demerara sugar is the best that is. Very high quality fruits, berries. The milk we use is the best milk there is. That's why it makes our product stand by itself. I like to make yogurt because I like to eat yogurt. We've been doing this for ourselves for many years because it's a tradition in our family. And we want to have a product which would be very similar to French yogurt, but with our touch of uniqueness, linking our name, our product, with the reputation of the Made in Oklahoma Coalition was probably the best thing we have done as far as promoting our product.
Welcome back to this Monday edition of the Daily O. I'm Grayson Singleton. Time to take a look into your national headlines from the weekend. And joining us in studio now is Tyler Tripodi to give you the latest. Take it away, Tyler.
Thanks, Grayson. Earlier today, a verdict has finally been ruled in the Buffalo shooting. 19-year-old Peyton Gendron pleaded guilty to state charges including murder, domestic terrorism, and attempted murder as a hate crime. Gendron is accused of killing 10 people and injuring more than a dozen others at a grocery store in a predominantly black neighborhood in May. 11 of the 13 people shot were black. Investigators believe Gendron targeted them based on their race. He has pleaded not guilty to multiple federal hate crime charges. If convicted on those charges, Gendron could get the death penalty. With the December 6th runoff election coming up for the final U.S. Senate race, early voters in Georgia have begun heading to the polls in record numbers. Democratic Senator Raphael Warnock and Republican Herschel Walker are in a runoff race after neither was able to pass the 50% threshold in the initial election. According to the Georgia Secretary of State's office, more than 78,000 votes were cast in person Saturday. The office said more than 21,000 votes were cast in Fulton County. Georgia's state Supreme Court allowed counties to offer early voting on Saturday. Additional early voting days are scheduled before Election Day, which is set for December 6th. With Cyber Monday among us for the holiday season, consumers are feeling more giving with how much they're spending compared to previous years. A good sign for retailers, shoppers spent a record $9.1 billion online on Black Friday, according to Adobe Analytics. 48%, or nearly half of online sales, were made over smartphones, which is up 44% over last year. Economists are closely watching holiday shopping this holiday season to measure the impact of inflation, which leads to higher prices and more frugal spending. The positive numbers for Black Friday are a good sign for Cyber Monday, which is typically considered to be online shopping's biggest day of the year. One of the cheapest airlines in America has found a new way to cut costs even more. Frontier Airlines, the low-cost carrier known for no-frills flights, has decided to cut customer service over the phone. In a policy that started last week, the airline says it has transitioned to fully digital communications. That means customers who need help must deal with an online chatbot, the airline's social media channels, or WhatsApp. The only way to reach a live agent is through Frontier's online chat tool, which is said to be available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Frontier was fined $2.2 million in November by the Department of Transportation for extreme delays in providing passengers refunds. The discount airline claims it made the change because most of its customers prefer to communicate online because of its speed and efficiency. Now that's all we have from the news desk. Back to you, Grayson.
Thanks so much, Tyler. Coming up, it's time to shine the light on how Oklahoma State athletics held up throughout the weekend, and also A decade-old run is now gone. Find out which tournament will come to an end for OSU and the Big 12 Conference. That and more when the Daily O returns.
Pecans are staple to Oklahoma. In fact, many of our native pecans come from trees that are older than Oklahoma statehood.
My father's the one that got us started into the pecan picking. I was probably 10 or 12 years old, and we started off with the one little mechanical picker that you pulled behind a four-wheeler. Then we'd go home at night and we'd clean them on a TV tray. I guess watching my dad work hard when we were young, and people started trusting him and getting more and more groves, we just kept growing.
Being a relatively new and fresh company, we get to sit in the same room with people who have been a part of the Oklahoma economy for decades.
It's opened a lot of doors. It's gave us quite a bit of exposure, and I think people, will take a small company like us a little more serious. We're just going to continue growing as long as our community lets us and our customers keep on buying, and we'll see where it takes us.
We would design something, it was set on the counter, and people was either, if enough of them said, this isn't it never made to the line. Dad was excited that they're all original. They were all designed on Mom's kitchen table, and it gets in your blood after a while.
We're very happy that Pamela and Michael have taken over the business and kept the family going.
We took the business over in 2017. When we found that it was available, we wanted to keep the legacy of family alive, but it was also incredible products that deserved to be a part of Made in Oklahoma's story. We were a part of Made in Oklahoma years ago, and so it kind of grew as Made in Oklahoma grew.
Oklahoma is ingrained into everything that we did. We've been here most of our life. That's what we entailed our whole business on, was the Oklahoma homegrown feeling.
You may have been to casinos at some point in your life, but do you really know the truth behind the game you're playing?
And the casinos were very polemic or very controversial when they came out. But the truth was, that's all the federal government gave us.
Casino is owned by the Chickasaw Nation and has roughly 600,000 square feet of dedicated gambling space, making it the world's largest casino. It contributed massively to the Chickasaw Nation posting a net revenue of $1.4 billion for the fiscal year of 2017.
Welcome back to the Daily O. Grayson Singleton here with you on Ocali TV. Cowboy basketball is back to its winning ways, now riding a 2-game winning streak after defeating Prairie View A&M 78-53 on Sunday afternoon. Our own Kylie Austin has the recap.
The Cowboys got another home walk-off win Sunday afternoon, defeating Prairie View A&M 78-53. The game started slow in the first half and remained a tight game, with OSU leading by 1 point at halftime. But in the second half, Oklahoma State's offense took off, with Avery Anderson, Bryce Thompson, Musa Cisse, and Keon Williams all scoring in double digits to take the win.
Started with our defense. Thought Keon Williams was terrific in terms of setting the tone again by losing himself within the game and making an impact without having to necessarily score. With that being said, there's a lot of improvement that needs to be made, and it's what the non-conference is supposed to do, give you some different challenges. So looking forward to moving forward. I mean, I think we have an elite defensive team. I haven't watched everybody. I've watched probably 70 teams play college basketball already this season in a little over 3 weeks. And I haven't seen a whole lot of teams that I would say, man, we got a long way to go to catch those guys defensively. For us, it's taking care of the basketball. It's offensive efficiency. It's being more consistent from the three-point line.
Anybody can start like that. That's how many good pieces we have. So Reek just coming in, doing what he do, crash the glass, offensive glass, defensive glass, is bringing a lot of goodness to our team. The only thing I feel like we're having trouble with is just like getting off playing 20 minutes. We only playing 20 minutes. Like the first couple of games, we'll get off to a good start. played a good 20 minutes in the first half, and then now we not playing a good 20 minutes in the first half, but playing a great 20 minutes in the second half. So offense is good. I would just say we got to play a whole 40 minutes.
Now the Cowboys are going to go back on the road to play at Connecticut on Thursday, December 1st for the Big 12 Big East battle.
Thanks, Kylie. And as she mentioned, OSU will look to extend its winning streak when the Cowboys hit the road to face off against the now 8th-ranked UConn Huskies. Tip-off is set for 5:30 p.m. For over a decade, Cowboy basketball and the Big 12 have competed in the yearly Big 12 SEC Challenge. However, after this year, that will be coming to an end. This morning, ESPN announced that the challenge will be concluding this January, as well as the Big Ten ACC Challenge that has lasted for 23 years. Both challenges will be replaced with a new ACC-SEC Challenge for both men's and women's basketball. That challenge will begin on Thanksgiving of 2023. Moving things over to the gridiron, while the Pokes are stringing together wins on the hardwood, Cowboy football was unable to replicate that against the West Virginia Mountaineers this Saturday afternoon. Our own Zach Mullis has the recap.
After a gritty and tough battle in a downpour of rain, the Cowboys were not able to find a way around West Virginia, losing 24-19. The Pokes came limping into this game after a pretty poor showing against OU. West Virginia weren't much better off, though, as they had only been able to muster 2 Big 12 wins coming into the game. It was senior day in Stillwater. Players such as Brandon Evers, Tom Hutton, and Spencer Sanders were able to say goodbye to Boone Pickens Stadium and Cowboy football. The game started off very defensive focused, as the first 3 drives all resulted in punts. However, on the very first play of the Mountaineers' second drive, quarterback Garrett Green was able to break free and run for a 36-yard rushing touchdown. The Cowboy offense was pretty much non-existent in the first quarter. However, they were finally able to catch something downfield when Brendan Presley caught a 32-yard pass to get the Pokes down to West Virginia's 14-yard line. The drive would end in a touchdown, tying the game at 7. After the touchdown, there were multiple squandered opportunities for the Pokes, as they got stopped in the red zone on 4th and 1, and they took a field goal on the Mountaineers' 4-yard line. Halftime score was 10-7 Pokes. Throughout the game, the weather was becoming more and more of a problem. The rain got heavier, and the passing the ball was getting harder, especially for an inexperienced quarterback.
Right. In the third quarter and the fourth quarter, it wasn't much fun for passing. You can do it, but it's not real easy. Early in the game, really, the weather wasn't a factor, in my opinion. So I would say second half, yes. First half, not really.
West Virginia started the second half on the right foot with 2 50-plus touchdown runs on back-to-back possessions. The Cowboys fought back, though, with a field goal and touchdown by Ollie Gordon to put them behind by 2. However, right when the Pokes seemed to come back into the game, the offense became stale. West Virginia was able to put themselves up 5 with a field goal with 5 minutes left. The Cowboy offense would have a long 9-play drive that looked promising all the way until a holding penalty derailed it. They would turn it over on downs, but they still had a chance. The Cowboys' defense got a 3-and-out, and they had one more chance to win the game. At this point, the rain was miserable to throw the ball in, and Garrett Rangel threw 4 straight incompletions to end the game. Even with the loss, Mike Gundy was pleased on the effort of the players, even if it did not get him a win.
The only time that I would get frustrated is if our guys weren't competing and playing hard. And I have not seen that this year, and I'm fairly certain I did not see that today.
Oklahoma State's regular season is now over, and their next game is going to be their bowl game. The date, time, and opponent are still to be announced. Reporting for Okawi TV, I'm Zach Mullis. Back to you.
Thank you, Zach. The Cowboys will now wait and see where they will play their bowl game, which bowl game they'll even be in, and who their opponent will be. Now, while fans will wait and see where OSU will end up in terms of a bowl game, fans will also begin asking who will be hitting the transfer portal this year. Players have begun sending messages on social media that begin to make many wonder where their future will be and whether it will be in Stillwater. While quarterback Spencer Sanders walked at senior night on Saturday, his 1 year of eligibility has yet to be known if it will even be used. Rumors have begun to surface that the 4-year starter may look to exercise his final season by going into the transfer portal. Throughout his time at Oklahoma State, Sanders is second all-time in career wins as a starting quarterback. This season, Sanders showcased his dual threat ability, throwing for just shy of 2,700 yards while adding nearly 400 on the ground and accounting for 25 total touchdowns. While there has yet to be a verdict on Sanders' future in Stillwater, make sure you tune in to Ocala TV and the Daily O as we'll keep you informed on the latest. Coming up, it's been a wild weekend for college football coaches. We're going to update you on who's going where, as well as your preview into Monday Night Football. Don't go anywhere. The Daily O will be right back.
Ace in the Bowl salsa started many, many years ago. I was trying to find a recipe to take to a family gathering, and so I started messing around with different recipes, and I took a little bit from here and a little bit from there, and I came up with a salsa that is truly unique. Ace in the Bowl salsa is an olive oil-based salsa with tomatoes, green chilies, green onions, and black olives. There's no sugar added, it's gluten-free, low calorie, low carb, low fat, low sodium. So it's a very, very, very good alternative to any snack you may want. As of right now, I'm just looking to be in Oklahoma and having a successful business within the state. If my grandkids could ever take it over when they're old enough, that would be my dream.
A Golf Digest 5-star course, Best New Public Course won an Open in 1994, and a top 100 public golf course in America since 2003. This course, just 5 miles outside of Stillwater, Oklahoma on Highway 51, is named after one of the influential golf pioneers this game has known.
Karsten Creek.
Karsten Creek.
Karsten Creek.
Karsten Creek.
Karsten Creek's a modern golf course.
The beauty of the course is in large part to the elements of the grounds. The Georgia fairway is transformed from its original forested landscape. Georgia was used to combat the tough winters so golfers could play year-round. The greens are large and sloping bent grass hills. The low-cut bent grass can be similar to glass during peak championship conditions. The bunkers surrounding most holes remind golfers of a white beach rather than a deep hazard. Lake Louise, surrounded by the second 9, completes the perfect finishing hole. The long par 72 course perfectly combines nature with the difficulty of a championship course. Karsten's added challenge is the Oklahoma wind.
So there aren't any other schools in the country that have that same commitment to college golf as we do here at Oklahoma State.
But if you're going to play at the highest level, you've got to be able to focus on where you want to go, and Karsten Creek does a good job of training you to do that, because if you don't, you're going to have a long day. And that's a great legacy that Coach Holder left, because that's the way he coached.
Welcome back to the Daily O. I'm Grayson Singleton. Week 12 of the NFL is coming to an end tonight as the Pittsburgh Steelers travel to face off against the Indianapolis Colts. Both teams come into tonight in the middle of subpar seasons. The 3-7 Steelers find themselves in unfamiliar territory. Barring an undefeated run for the remainder of the season, Pittsburgh is on track for its first losing season under head coach Mike Tomlin. Rookie quarterback Kenny Pickett will have a lot to prove under the spotlight for the rest of the season, as the Steelers' offense has struggled throughout the year, now facing a defense that allows the 4th highest completion rating in the league. As for the Colts, who are 4-6-1, it's all about proving that their recent coaching change was worth it. The Colts come into this one following a last-minute loss to the Philadelphia Eagles, putting an end to interim head coach Jeff Saturday's undefeated record. There's been a lot of question marks throughout the season, but the Colts could be the return of running back Jonathan Taylor, who's had a season of struggles so far, only finding the end zone 3 times. Kickoff between both of these teams will be at 7:15 tonight and can be found on ESPN. Before we let you go, it's time to take a look into your national sports headlines from the weekend, and joining us once again from the other side of the desk is Tyler Tripodi. Give us the latest, Tyler.
Been surfacing throughout the NFL all year long, but on Sunday, it wasn't for the right reasons. NFL star Odell Beckham Jr. was removed from a flight Sunday morning for refusing to buckle his seatbelt. Beckham was on an American Airlines flight from Miami to LA when crew members say he refused to comply with their safety rules. Members of the flight crew say the NFL free agent wide receiver appeared to be coming in and out of consciousness at the time. The pilot was forced to abort takeoff and return to the gate. Miami police say they were called on board the plane for what was described as a medical emergency. Passengers were asked to deplane, and Beckham eventually complied with the request by police to get out of his seat. Beckham was escorted off the plane, and so far no charges have been filed in the incident. A representative for Beckham calls it all a misunderstanding, explaining that he simply fell asleep on the plane. After an 11-week suspension from the NFL, Cleveland Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson has officially been reinstated. Despite the win against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last week, led by Jacoby Brissett, head coach Kevin Stefanski confirmed that Watson will still be the starting quarterback this week. Watson was acquired from the Texans in March and signed to a $250 million contract. He was banned for 11 games in August for violating the league's personal conduct policy. Watson agreed to a $5 million fine and the suspension and vowed to undergo counseling and treatment. Since the ruling, Watson was mostly away from the team. He was cleared to attend meetings and use weight room facilities last month. Watson will begin his Browns tenure facing off against his former team in the Houston Texans. Moving into the college gridiron, it was quite the weekend of headlines when it came to coaches, whether they're resigning or packing their bags, so let's break down who's going where. Let's start with those who won't be returning. That list includes Tulsa's Philip Montgomery, Stanford's David Shaw, and UNLV's Marcus Arroyo. Taking a look at the newest coaching additions for programs, the Big Ten has been active in their recruiting as Nebraska hired Matt Rule, as well as Wisconsin pulling away Cincinnati's Luke Fickell to become the latest head coach. Now, this one's just in, but Hugh Freeze is on his way to Auburn, and then we'll move out west as Arizona State brings home a former alum as Oregon offensive coordinator Kenny Dillingham has been named their new head coach, making him the youngest coach in the country. Now, that's all we have from the National News Desk. Back to you, Grayson.
What a weekend in college football. I was totally surprised to see Luke Fickell leaving Cincinnati to go to Wisconsin. And, of course, the big news with Hugh Freeze going to Auburn. All right, that'll do it for our show tonight. Thanks so much for tuning in. And make sure to tune in tomorrow to the Daily O as Emma Lightfoot will keep you updated on everything happening here in Stillwater all the way throughout the country. For the Daily O, I'm Grayson Singleton. Have a good night, everybody.
My name is James Remedy. Fired Up Stilly is the name of the business, and I'm one of the owners. We all three met, the three owners, working as employees at a similar place like this. What I hope for is for everybody to feel welcome, like family. Not only do I want students to feel welcome to come here and study and use our free Wi-Fi, but also I want adults and families to be able to come in. We've built a connection with a lot of people, and Stillwater's a big community, so we just want to invite everybody to be able to eventually make their way through our doors. Well, definitely the teas, I would say. Most people fall in love with them. They just got a great amount of energy, gets you going through your day, and it just kickstarts you to get everything you need to done. For myself, it would just have to be, being the owner, owning something that, is able to impact other people's lives, and, the way we can affect our community is something that I really have always wanted to do. We love our clients and our customers that come through every day, and we enjoy getting to know them.
My name's Kayla. I've been here since the beginning, so 4 years. Scratch is more focused on farm and mostly made in Oklahoma products, keeping it local. Sustainability is our biggest thing. That's one of the reasons why this place opened.
I've been the chef here at Scratch for 2.5 years. Started here as a line cook. Our food and drinks are a bit separate entities almost inside the restaurant. So the food is now up to 85% of the products we bring in are raised or grown locally. It's all based off of things that I grew up eating in southern Oklahoma, the things my grandparents ate.
Fresh food, clean food, organic food, sustainability, that's all of our thing. From front of house to back of house, we're able to maintain both with freshness. But made in Oklahoma means we get it straight from the farms that are 20, 30 minutes, another little county away. We get it straight from them.
Hi, I'm Shauna here at Where the Buffalo Roam in beautiful downtown Pawnee, Oklahoma. We have a lot of beautiful and unique items for sale in the store, but our number one items are Navajo jewelry, Pendleton blankets, and Consuela. It's a great place to shop, a beautiful downtown, so come see us in Pawnee, Oklahoma.